What's up, guys? Welcome to the post-show podcast. My name is Salman Ali, here joined by Alyaan, Lalani, and Alykhan, Bijani. How are you guys doing, man?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having us back, Salman.
Yeah, doing really well. Got a lot to get out of my chest today, man. So I'm excited for this.
I'm excited to hear what you had, because I feel like, you know what? Like, we got to get on the socials, people, for this, because I feel like you had the most spicy stuff. You didn't get clipped your proper amount. I don't know why I got clipped. I was boring. I was a boring. I tried watching that back. I edited it, so I saw the whole thing. I thought I was a boring host, and I thought Alyaan came with the spice. And I feel like you should get clipped more this time. That's the powers of that be. Like, we have no control over this. Whoever's clipping, like, please look out for Alyaan. He's putting out the spice. We're just kind of here to be role players. But yeah. So we should probably start with the finals. Carved won this whole tournament. Kind of a surprise pick. Not. I don't think either of us had Carved winning it, but we probably should have. Shazam won the MVP, and I'm gonna give my theory as to why I didn't see this coming, and why I think most people didn't see this coming. I think when it comes to these regional tournaments, Shazam gets overlooked, because when you go to a national tournament, he's not that scorer, right? That he's asked to be in a regional tournament, right? Because he's so toolsy and he's an athlete, right? And they ask him to do so many other things for the national team that he kind of gets like overshadowed a bit, and people kind of forget. And then when you get to a regional tournament where everyone can kind of be their own boss, right? Everyone, like, you get to see that scoring side of him, and he's really freaking good. And like he was, I mean, obviously he was awarded the MVP for it. I thought Segi played really well too. Like, I thought this was an overall really, really well-rounded, put-together team that we kind of should have saw coming. Like, we should have paid more attention to this. I thought AB was a great pickup for them. Like, they drafted perfectly for their main stars to shine. And we did talk about them, but in a way that made it seem like they weren't going to make it because of how they came out of the gate with like the arguing about who to draft. But I guess Shazam was wrong. Like, they drafted the right team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, watching that team, every piece clicked together perfectly, in my opinion. And I think, to add on to what you said about Shazam, I think finally Shazam got an opportunity to play his position. And I'm not saying he's not able to play big. He's a strong guard. Yeah. But a lot of the time when he does play on these Houston teams, they have him guarding Raheem Himani on Titans. They have him guarding AB whenever he's playing a big like that. They have him guarding Zayn Motani. They have him playing defensively as a big. And I think because of that, and like Paul George said back in the day, he said it's hard for players to play both sides of the ball and not lose energy.
He
right?
loses
like
his legs. Yeah, he can't shoot.
You're going to lose some part of your game, whether it's offensively or defensively. And because he has to exert so much energy as a big defensively, he's not able to shine as a guard offensively. And I think that's what he was able to do in this tournament, was that because they drafted a big, and in my opinion, after this tournament, it's proven once and for all the best big man in Ismaili basketball right now in Ali Barwani. I think that Shazam was able to play comfortably within his position, and because of how well Segi played in the regular season and the attention he was getting, it was easy money in one-on-one matchups for Shazam. Honestly, and that he'll cook a lot of one-on-one matchups, and I think that team, the chemistry issues was what we were concerned about coming in just because of all the draft drama we heard, but they put all of that to bed, and honestly, every single one of these pieces clicked. And the funny thing is, all these people on the team were telling me that, who the best, the it factor was on that team? And this one's going to be for you, Alykhan, Ishan Nathani. He was the it factor on that team. They said they were happy with where they drafted him. When you think about an ideal role player, when you think about someone who plays, the right way, Dorian Finney-Smith on the Mavs, someone who plays off the ball, cuts in when he needs to. That's what Ishan Nathani did with two ball-dominant players, and everyone enjoyed playing with him.
Hit some big shots in the clutch, had some great rebounding. I mean, he was terrific and made me eat my words that Ishan was a great pick and actually played like he was a undervalued player. He should have probably been drafted higher the way he played.
Mhm.
I do think one thing that he did extremely well that helped Shazam be successful is, like you mentioned, you had Shazam having to play as a wing or a guard versus having to play a big on both ends. And when you put a smaller player on him, Shazam is going to cook them easily. When you allow him to be able to kind of just roam and play defense and not exert as much energy, he's going to cook offensively. And so I thought that having those bigger wings and having AB Ali Barvani there on the back end, it really opened up a lot of those driving lanes for Segi, for Shazam to be able to attack and get going. And then I want to give a shout out to all of us because we all had Brock playing extremely well, and he was one of those unsung young players in the tournament who played well. Alyaan, you mentioned Samir Jessa. He played some serviceable minutes for them. Naveed Javani played well. I mean, it was a very good team top to bottom. There was really no weakness there. Just good, solid depth.
Yeah.
And that defensive backcourt strength, like let's not forget, Seyhan is one of the best guard defenders in basketball. And then you add Shazam.
Shazam was playing great defense.
He's an amazing defender on guards. That's the one benefit about Shazam.
His length is great, man.
Yeah, he could play. He could defend 1 to 5 as we're talking about, but he's able to lock up guards. And I think that backcourt was able to play really good defense, and then that kind of found their way to the offensive end.
We've been gassing up Shazam a little bit. I don't want to get his head too big. I'm going to say this: he is a drafter, right? And so I think in that sense, Segi saved Shazam from himself.
Absolutely.
Because he tends to go for the guards in the beginning.
Yeah.
He tends to go for guards.
Yeah.
And he wants other ball handlers on the team. And it's like, you know what? No, dude, you're a ball handler, right? Like Segi's a ball handler. You need to get bigs, right? You need to load up on bigs. And I think like when they start doing the national stuff again, right? Like Shazam, like they need to put that team together with that in mind about Shazam, right? Like, yes, he can. He's toolsy, as I said. He's toolsy. He can do that stuff, but should he do that stuff, right? Should he have to guard the bigs? And like sometimes it's necessary, right? Sometimes you just don't have the bigs to hold up. But like on this type of team, it's not, and he could guard the guards. And I thought his defense was probably his best quality this tournament. Offensively, to be honest, those first couple of days, he was not on it.
Yeah. And there was games he didn't play much either because they were undefeated. They were just trying to get their, use their depth a little bit. But yeah, I like, they drafted perfectly. They really, really drafted perfectly. First round pick was Ali Barwani. Like you said, the big was necessary. Second round pick was Ryan Gilani, one of the young up-and-comers for Dallas. He's usually a very ball-dominant player in Dallas with the people he plays with in his age group. But when he's playing with a captain like Seyhan and when he's playing with another captain like Shazam, he's able to thrive off the ball and then becomes one of the best shooters off the ball. And so I think that all of that, and obviously we talked about Ishan Nathani and a lot of their depth pieces as well. Naveed was that good vet presence for them, and he was a filler in the last minute for them. And that ended up being really, really crucial for them because he was making a lot of the decisions from the bench, who to play, controlling everything in those timeouts as well. So I thought every single piece they drafted was a perfect fit for that team and helped in some way.
Yeah, we should have saw it coming. Yeah. I think we were thrown off a bit. Like, it was a little bit of a smokescreen, the fact that they had this draft drama. But, I mean, the team they ended up drafting was good, and it performed as it looked on paper. This is my note for
Shazam, man. You played with a great big, so when you put your team together for nationals, if you want any chance to beat a Dallas team, know that you need a big. Well, bigs are necessary.
I think this is why they won the last nationals. Not the last one. I guess in 2024.
The HYL tournament you're talking about, yeah.
Right. I think because they had Cheyenne and they had Abid, he did guard bigs, right? But he not as much as he normally does because he had his legs. He made that huge shot to close that game. I think it's because he had his legs. Like that's always the thing. Like, he can do that. He can do the guarding the bigs. Should he? Probably not. And we learned that this tournament. Yeah, he's one of the best players in Ismaili basketball. We just kind of forget, and we're reminded when in these regional kind of tournaments. Yeah. Okay, that's enough gassing about. ISO territory. So the other team that made the finals, very good team, and a team that we didn't see coming because they were so young. And that's probably like the biggest takeaway from this tournament for me. The young guys are ready, man.
Yeah.
They're ready. Like these young Houston guys, like the ISO elite team that they took to nationals, like we talked about it on the last show actually. That this could be a possibility that the young guys are ready, right? And they took that team to nationals. They did really well. They took it internationals. They did really like we should have saw it coming because these guys don't shy away from the moment. Like the standout performers for this whole tournament are all under 25.
Yeah.
You're gonna notice that once we get there, like, and that starts with Ali Koja and Izan Mohammed. Like they were great. This was a great tournament for them. I thought this team was killer. They didn't win, but they were really, really good.
I didn't expect this team to dominate the way they did. I mean, meaning there was 2 4-0 teams, and that was Carved and that was ISO territory, and both that 1 and 2 seed made it to the finals. Ali Koja always finds a way to play winning basketball. He wins in a lot of these leagues in Dallas. Izan stepped up and played really, really well. I thought those two were a fantastic fit together. They had Amil, who has an amazing touch around the rim. That guy was that having that big is so important for you. And then they had the steal of the draft in Alyaan Sunestra. I thought that was a really, really big difference maker for that team.
You know, the Houston teams have been looking for that hustle player, someone who consistently can create kind of extra opportunities, offensive rebounds, poke the ball, just get their transition offense going, because that's when Houston teams are really successful. And I think going into the next Nationals, you need to make sure Alyaan Sunestra is not only playing, but he is that dominant kind of like role player who can play alongside a lot of their ball dominant guys. Yeah. And I think Alyaan announced himself at this tournament. I think those in Houston know who he is. He's a great athlete across different sports. But Alyaan announced himself that he's not only here to play, he's here to dominate. And he was terrific. I heard rave reviews from all the teams, all the coaches, people who were there, who watched. I definitely think he is somebody that is going to be a part of that conversation to be a Nationals team player in the future.
Yeah, and that's surprising because he wasn't a cap, right? That's the case for a lot of these guys we're going to end up discussing. A lot of the best players ended up not being caps, right? Maybe that was by design, maybe that was by accident, but it just ended up being the case that players that were young ended up just being ready for the moment in a way that the older players just were not. I thought this was perhaps the most disappointing element of the tournament. The old guys, they looked old, right? And they're not that old. They're in their mid to late 20s, but they look like they didn't show up, right? We're gonna get to them.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about that, but when we get to that, we'll get to that.
We'll get to them, but my God, like they showed you up, right? Other than Shazam, right? Other than Shazam and Segi, every other vet looked like a vet. Like they looked like a role player. They looked like a minimum signing, right? Like it was a little embarrassing for these guys. Like I hope they take that away from this tournament. We'll get to it now. We'll get to it in a second. Actually, I got one more thing. Let's check in on Nuhei, because we talked a little bit about him last show. I stuck up for the man. I knew he was going to be fine. Every time we do this, every tournament we do this, he got drafted too high. He plays. Oh, it turns out he's good. It turns out he's good at basketball. We do this every freaking year. I hope this is the last year we do this. Alyaan, you got anything to say?
Hey, Alykhan, just like you with Ishan Nathani, man, I'll eat my words on this one. Nuhed, I know your team went 0-5, including the playoffs, but none of that was your fault, brother. You were the lone bright spot for an otherwise dysfunctional team. And he played exceptionally well. I think that the problem with that team was obviously missed shots and all, but Nuhed was there. Nuhed was aggressive. He played the way he was supposed to play at the end of the day. Again, we'll get to the problems of that team later, but I think that I'll give my apology to Nanu right now. Never again will you hear me doubt your abilities as a basketball player. If you are a captain next tournament, Nuhed, you deserve it.
Wow. What?
Because you played better than a lot of other captains in this tournament.
It's not it's not incorrect. It's not incorrect, and like, it's always the height, right? It's always the height. Like you look at him, and it's like he shouldn't be as effective as he is, right?
Yeah.
But it's because people think he's going to be poor defensively. He's going to be a liability. Offensively, you don't think he's going to have as much of an impact. But the guy's quick. He can shoot, and like he's athletic, right? So he can defend, right?
And you don't see a lot of players that are good at both having the ball in their hands, being good with the ball, and then moving without the ball as well. That balance is not easy to find, especially in the Smiley basketball today. People either want to play one way or the other, and Nuhed's able to play both ways. He showed that.
Yeah, I think that probably comes from like being not one of the captains, right? Like when you're asked to be like a complementary talent to a team, you're more likely to be willing to move, right? You're more likely to know your role, right? And that might be something that he's developed over these last few years, like being someone who is not one of the main players on the roster. Like he's developed that skill set of playing off the ball, right? So it could end up being a good thing that this worked out for him.
One thing I heard from one of the coaches, not coaches, but one of the captains, is that they think Nanu has showed himself to be a good combo guard. Obviously, as you talked about, be able to kind of play different styles, right, off ball, on ball. But one thing they want to see is right now he has that they think a ceiling as a 6-man. Can he be someone who starts in the backcourt for a nationals team? And I think over the next year or two, as these tournaments come back up, that's going to be on Nanu to show in the pickups and in the different games. Can Nanu be a starter versus just a 6-man?
I have a does it matter? Right, like that's my question. Like, does it fundamentally matter if he's on the national team? Isn't that like, and if he's closing games, like, does it really matter? Like, it's Smiley basketball. It does not matter who the starters are, right?
Yeah,
and
fair.
I feel like if anyone's asking this question, like, come on, like, who cares? Like, if he's good, he's good. He'll get added to a team and he'll contribute.
I mean, hey, Alyaan, I had my own guy who showed me up. I had Ishan, but I also had Sahil. I mentioned Sahil Vinkani. Sahil was clutch, man, for ISO. I think for him, the biggest thing was he hit some clutch shots. He got some tough rebounds, and I think he just played also a good overall team complementary role. So I just want to give a shout out to Sahil Vinkani because him and both Ishan showed me up on calling them bus. So
yeah, we weren't wrong on a lot of things for this tournament, but we'll take responsibility for being wrong on who we thought were the bus of this draft. We'll say.
Okay, can I say someone who I didn't vocalize as someone I was kind of down, not kind of down on, but just like wasn't expecting to have a big tournament, but ended up having a big tournament. Abid Ali, right? Like, by all accounts, he just wasn't as active of a player anymore, right? And we just thought, okay, like he's probably at a different phase in his life, and he's phasing out basketball. But he was one of the better performers in the tournament, and it shouldn't be surprising because he's big, right? He's a huge dude, and like that is an advantage, like when you're trying to catch up, right? Like, but like he didn't look like he was behind to begin with, right? And he had a great tournament. Like I got to give it up to Abid. That it surprised me. The young guys obviously surprised me, and I guess we should start with Rakeen, who was probably the best player in this tournament. And we can have some larger conversation with him in a second. He averaged 27.5 points per game. He was fantastic. He was fantastic. I mean, he everyone knows Rakeen's good, right? we knew Rakeen was good. We didn't know if he was ready, right? And that wasn't like that wasn't a slap on him. That was just like, oh, young people this young usually aren't ready for this like yet, right? Like, and he very much was. He killed it. He was easily the best player on his team. Probably should have got the ball on the last possession that he got eliminated in. The ball went to Amir Koja. It was probably an ill-advised decision over there on their part. But that's probably because he got aged. He got a little kidded, right?
Well, he did hit the game winner in the regular season, to be fair, for one of their games. Amir Koja did. And, yeah, I think it's just more of a you'll trust someone who's been there in that position. That was where their rationale was. And also, I think the defense is just everyone knew how Rakeen was doing in that tournament. So eventually, they had the best players guarding Rakeen and started helping off of Amr a little bit too. So I think it was a combination of a lot of those factors happening.
I got a question for you because you're someone who will inshallah play in future tournaments, right? In terms of potentially even guarding a player like Rakeen. what is the best defense to go against him? Like, if you're on the court and you're saying, right, like, the best defenders were on him, you saw help side defenders rotating to him. But if you're trying to construct a defense to go against arguably the best basketball player in Texas right now, is my basketball player in
By
Texas.
the way, did any of us name him as the best basketball player in Texas on the last podcast?
I didn't.
Nope, we didn't name
No.
him.
Big oversight. Big oversight. Continue.
Yeah. Alyaan, like, just walk me through. What would you do to guard him?
He's a quick player, but for me, what I think always works against guards like that, because again, this is a smiley basketball, right? And offensive players like Rakhine, I'll use Alykhan as an example over here. They do not like being pressed up at all. You have good help side. It's all rotational basketball at the end of the day. If you play man-to-man defense, you have to rotate help side if Rakhine does blow by you, but you got to press someone like that. When he gets rid of the ball, you got to run around with him like he's Klay Thompson on the court. And I'm not saying that's his player comp. You could run around with him like he's Steph Curry, whatever he is, but I'm just saying you got to make him uncomfortable. These players, especially these young basketball players, they're used to being super comfortable. They play with their age group, which 65-70% of their age group is trash. So they're all going to do well and be in comfortable positions with them. Now Rakhine has an advantage of having played with Shaniv, Shazam, ISO Elite, and Clutch City had combined teams for multiple tournaments as well. So they've all played together. But these young guys, they get super uncomfortable when you press them, when you play physical with them, put a body on them, like piss them off. Play like Dylan Brooks with them. And that's why I'm so excited to come back for some of these tournaments, because these guys like Rakhine, yes, they're great players, but they're not going to get the same looks when you have a defender like myself guarding them. And there's a lot of defenders like that didn't play. Asad Megani is a great defender who wouldn't let Rakhine score like that. It's just defense also isn't in people's DNA anymore. That's the thing, especially with the younger generation. We all want to let someone shoot a three-pointer, then get back. If Shazam guarded Rakhine, Shazam would lock him up. But I'm saying that there's so many. You have so much space nowadays for players to operate that they're able to get into comfortable positions. But I'll tell you, in Ismaili basketball, no one should be scoring 30 points a game. And
that's fair. It's fair.
And 20-minute quarters where these games are having 50 points, 60 points each. You're telling me that Rakhine scored almost half of his team's points, or a little more than half of his team's points? That's unacceptable defense at the end of the day, no matter how good of a player you are. Make him uncomfortable, push him around, foul him a time or two. He's not going to do the same stuff he does to you, like he's been doing to you if you push him around a little bit.
Is some of it people just didn't see it coming? Is that what it is? Like he just surprised people, and that's why?
I think so. I think that was the case. A lot of the attention was put on Umar on that team as well, because he's one of the older vets and everyone knows who he is. And he still had a fantastic tournament, but because of the way Rakhine was playing, I mean, it was just a surprise for a lot of people. And then once you start putting so much focus on Rakhine, you help off of Umar. When you put so much focus on Umar, you're putting Rakhine in one-on-one matchups with no rotation.
Yeah. No, I mean, killer tournament. It really is kind of jarring to put these ISO elite guys in these conversations that fast, but they've done it, right? Like one of them made the finals, one of them was the best player in the tournament, right? Mm-hmm. That's just what they did. They commanded it themselves. We have to give it to them. This is their time as well now, right? Like these Shazam's generation, they're still here, but these other guys are more hungry right now, right? At least it appears that way. Honorable mentions. I thought both Cheyennes had a great tournament. I thought. We mentioned Ayan Sunesra. Aways was a steal in this draft. You mentioned Alyaan Tharani. Can we get?
I want to give Cheyenne Ali a special shout out, man. This guy deserved to be a captain in this tournament by far. That 67ers team, especially on day one, looked really scary, and they did have a 0-2 day two, but he was a consistent point on that team, and I was really impressed by that, because I honestly didn't know who he was before the tournament. I knew all the younger guys on that team like Rakhine, Izan, but I didn't know who Cheyenne Ali was, and he ended up playing super well that tournament. So super, a big shout out to him.
He's vocally a captain. He plays
Mhm.
like a captain. I think he's just a natural born leader. And I think
Yeah.
ultimately this next generation of hoopers that Salman keeps referring to, Cheyenne will definitely be a captain and someone who's going to be
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to disappointing teams and players, and I guess we can start with Zool. Right? It was uncomfortable. He was an uncomfortable watch. Right? Everyone saw what he played like before the tournament. I knew going in like he was not one of the better players anymore. Right? Like we didn't. I didn't talk about. I gave him a shout out because he should normally be that, but I just knew going in he wasn't going to be that. I did not see this. Nobody saw this. This was an uncomfortable watch to see, and I don't want to be too hard on him because he probably knows. He probably knows more than us, right? And he's a good kid, and like everybody likes Zool, but man, it was brutal. This was a brutal tournament. He shouldn't have been a cap. That's how bad it was. He shouldn't have been a cap this tournament. And he should normally, like as I said on the last show, when he's ready to play basketball, he is one of the best players here. But he wasn't ready.
Yeah, herein lies the problem with the Smiley basketball, is we're riding the successes of players in 2018 and 2019 and leading that to making decisions for today. It's was a decision that shouldn't have been made in the beginning to make him a captain.
Well, I'll contend with that. Like, who else would you have done, right? Like, without the knowledge of this tournament in mind, we just didn't know.
There are so I would have. We know that Cheyenne Ali is and Keon Muhammad or Keon Ali. Sorry, whatever.
Yeah.
Keon. I don't know his last name. Sorry.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Keon. They're both were on the same team. They both could have been a captain for that team. Everyone knows Keon. Keon starts for ISO.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have been a decision. He plays big. That could have been a decision easily made for that team.
Yeah.
That team was, and I misspoke when I said earlier that Nanu was the sole bright spot for that team. He was a bright spot for that team, but their captain Sahil Panjwani was also the other bright spot of that team. That team had the issue of two people not getting back on defense every single possession. It was Zul and Sani not getting back on defense. And it's okay if you're actually, no, it's unacceptable not getting back on defense, but then you have to alter the style of basketball you're playing, right? Shooting a three-pointer 4 seconds, 5 seconds into your possession is not a solution. Why are you playing that fast pace? Zul probably went 2 for 12, 2 for 13 every game as a captain. And that held back the performance. And these are bad, quick shots that they're taking. Their captain is in the huddle. I'm listening to these huddles. Their captain Sahil is in the huddle saying, "Hey, let's slow it down a little bit." And what happens? No one's listening.
Yeah.
They're just taking quick shots, and they go 0-5, and they lose. The icing on the cake to that was ISO territory. They were 3-0 at the time. They're playing No Giddy in their fourth game. No Giddy is 0-3 in this game. No Giddy's playing their full roster. Ali Koja and Amel are in street clothes resting the whole game. A team with Izan, Sahil Venkani, and Izan's good. I already know that Izan's good, but they're missing two of their best players. A team with two of their best players out beat No Giddy by double digits.
You know what I think it is? Like, we've seen Zool be out of shape and have good tournaments before, right? And I think he was given the benefit of the doubt that he'll figure this out and still be one of the better players. I think this is probably the last time we're going to give him that leeway again, right? Like, I think that's probably the last time until he shows that he is one of the better players again. Like, he gets that kind of leeway. He's going to have to kind of show it and show himself to be in this conversation with guys like Rakeen again, right? Because right now he's firmly out of it. He's firmly out of even the top 5 of that conversation.
Like, I hope the commissioners and the decision makers of these tournaments take notes over here and realize, look, we got to stop writing the successes of people of what they were, and we have to focus on what is now. We have to focus on who are the good players now. When you're making your local leagues in Houston, when you're making your local leagues in Dallas, when you're making another tournament like this, you have to make sure the captain, like teams are getting represented based on, and players are getting represented based on how good they are right now. I mean, that captain first round pick Ali Barwani should have been a captain in this tournament when it's all said and done. But the reason why he wasn't a captain is because, you know what, he's not as, cool as like Zul or everybody else is with the commissioners, and that's that. So we really have to look at
politics. Wow. Okay. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So this basketball gets very, very political, and I thought it was only an issue with Ismaili football. And I don't know if you guys know the culture about football. I'm not going to get into it too deeply, but at least in Dallas, it's very, very political. When you play in these football leagues, it's these 37-year-old has-beens that are getting drafted in the first round, second round over players who are really good. And so at the end of the day, we have to figure out who's good right now. Like, get out of this boomer mindset. Shayan Ali should have been a captain. Ali Barwani should have been a captain. So let's end this political crap once and for all. I'm just being honest, man. That's one of the things I needed to get out of my chest, man. Because, and I know Zul's a nice guy and all, but this is like a strictly basketball conversation. And I'm just saying that the decisions made on a basketball point of view by the decision makers are trash, and we need to really rethink that.
Okay. No. Listen, I'm with you. There are too many legacy picks. I will defend Zul a little bit in that we've seen him be good before even in the last tournaments, right? Like, and this happened very fast. This happened very fast. It turned into something that we weren't expecting, come tournament day, and I feel like it's not gonna be made again next time. But fair enough. Alyaan's putting the league on notice. We got to change this up. Next time we got
to stop being friends with everybody too. That's another problem, man. It's like whenever we get paired, like these captain pairings, everyone's being so like damn nice to each other and everything like that. We got to stop with the friendship. Like, what happened to the days of like Neil Merchant talking to everybody? What happened to the days when Prime Shazil was really just going at every single person's throat? Like, the same problem that everybody talks about the NBA, it's the same problem happening right now. Oh wow, this guy seems like a really nice guy, so let's make him a captain of a league. Like, enough is enough.
Fair. Yeah. No, fair. Okay. Yeah, no, listen. I'm with you. No, yeah, let's get that out of the league. No, fair. All right. More disappointing teams though. Windy City. No, you know what? Let's start with Broke Boys, because this team really genuinely pisses me off. This team genuinely, because we had so low expectations for them going in, and they still managed to underachieve. Like, how? We go into it calling you the Hardens of Ismaili basketball. You come out of it looking like Lou Williams of Ismaili basketball. Like, what the hell is that?
More like Campaign of Ismaili basketball.
Like the Enes
like
Kanter.
They're not even in the NBA anymore.
What was this? Like, you're out there looking like Tyler Hansbrough. Like, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. Like, listen. Their team was not very well constructed. But again, that is on them, too. You should have drafted a big. You should have drafted a big at that first round pick. You took a guard early. That's not anyone else's fault. That's you. That's you. You should have drafted that big. If you thought that was a weakness, you should have taken one. You should have taken one that first round. I don't want to hear the excuses. Like, oh, we didn't have bigs. Shut up.
Like, you made the decision. You drafted it.
You drafted the team. You're like, this is not a situation where you're a player on a coach team and the coach put together the team. No, that's you. You put together the team, and you chose to have no bigs. Nobody wants to hear that. The other thing I don't want to hear is the excuses for Shanif, right? Like, Shanif, I'm sorry. Yeah, listen, Adil is a little bit of a black hole on the offensive end. Go get the basketball, man. What are you doing? Go get the ball. You're one of the best scorers in Ismaili basketball. Like, nobody wants to hear, like, oh, the guy's not passing to me. Nobody wants to hear it. You know what? He sprained his ankle in the last game before the tournament started. And listen, that image is circulating everywhere, right? Of the swollen ankle. I'm hearing reports. Listen, this is all speculation. AI. I'm hearing speculation about Photoshop. I can't confirm or deny what I'm hearing. This is just what I'm hearing on the streets. People are saying, oh, he wasn't man enough to go into the tournament. He had to come up with some excuse. Felt embarrassed by the regular season. Oh, ankle, how convenient. I'm not saying these things. These are other people. Listen, I'm just a reporter. I'm just a reporter. I'm just a journalist. Alykhan, you heard these things as well. It wasn't just me. We all heard the things about
we're told.
The AI allegations were out there about the ankle. This wasn't me. Like, what the hell was this?
I want to say something. So the image was put into an AI generator, and it was not 100% that it was not AI. That's all I'm going to say.
We don't need to get to the bottom of that. What we do need to know is this going to happen again? Is this what we're expecting from these regional tournaments with Shanif at the helm? Like, and Adil too. God, like if you have this reputation, you know it going in. Like, can you like at least like come in with some on your chest, right? Like can you like come in like you want to eradicate this, to make this a dead conversation? Like, no, it didn't feel like they wanted to do that.
Yeah, this team was, and I apologize for calling y'all chokes, Shanif and Adil. Y'all didn't even have a chance to choke because y'all went 0-4 in the regular season.
They're not eating.
Yeah, so y'all didn't even get a chance to choke. That's how bad your guys' team was.
No bites. You didn't have any bites to choke on, right?
Was the first day of that tournament. They were very competitive with the teams they played. Now, what a lot of the teammates were telling me about that day was both those games went into overtime for them. The first game they lost to a game winner by Amr Koja. The second, and I don't know if that was the same game or not, but it was a game where Adil had 3 turnovers in overtime, and it was just that day where I think a lot of momentum was lost for the team, and then they just lost their effort. Day 2. I mean, every game started off them being down by 20 points. They were down, I think, 23-5, 25-5 their last game of the second day, so their 4th game of the season, when Shanif twisted his ankle. And so, look, we can call Adil a black hole, and I can understand that narrative a lot of the times, but the team just lost effort, so it wasn't all on him. Yeah, I can understand the team loses their momentum, their motivation to play, but at the end of the day, you guys are trying to win a game no matter what. If I'm Zoe Koja, if I'm Ursh Karawadia, that was their first 2 picks of the tournament, I'm looking at myself and telling myself, why wasn't I able to put a consistent effort? Zoe Koja is a captain for a Dallas League coming up, Ismaili Basketball League. Why is he not putting effort in consistently? Why is Ursh Karawadia not putting effort in consistently? And I know Zoe's able to do that because I've played against Zoe. Zoe swatted my shot off the backboard like LeBron swatted Iguodala twice in my life. Like, he is good. But there's no effort being put in whatsoever. And then that forces Adil to take a bunch of bad shots at the end of the game when they're down by 20. The issue for the first 3 games also that I heard was Shanif was not getting the ball.
Yeah.
But as a captain, you got to demand the ball.
Go get it.
You got to demand the ball. And honestly, look, I know, like, Adil's one of my best friends. And so, like, I have a humble request to Adil. Adil, if you're watching this right now, I know you're a commissioner of these leagues, but being a commissioner of these leagues does not mean you have to be a captain of these leagues, all right? Please hang it up as a captain from this point forward. Let someone else take over captain. You're going to be an easy top 3 pick in these drafts. Like, Adam Silver does not make himself a captain for any of the leagues that he's commissioner for. Roger Goodell's not a captain.
That's a clean comparison. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I'm just saying that as a commissioner,
Okay.
You don't need to reward yourself with all the things. Like, do not be a captain, please. Like, spare yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of you haven't won shit. At the end of the day, you haven't won shit as a captain. I think you have a total 1 win in the playoffs in the 5 years you've been a captain. It gets boring at the end of the day. Like, I'd be bored if I were you. And you're my friend. Like, I hate seeing your legacy go out like this, man. Just be a top 3 pick in the draft and be amazing the way you are.
Yeah. It was embarrassing. I mean, like, you had secondhand embarrassment, like, just watching the team, right? Like, because again, floor level expectations. Somehow you underachieved that. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Shanif too passive. We mentioned it.
They figured it out too late, though. You know what I mean? Like in the first few games,
Aldo had 3 turnovers in a pivotal game on the first day.
yeah.
Right? Like that can't happen. That can't happen.
Like on a serious note, I think the big difference needed to be Shanif needed to bring the ball down every single time because Adil thrives really well as an off-ball player, and I just think that like Shanif should have just ran the show as a point guard for that team. He's able to create for himself, he's able to create for others, and that just wasn't happening.
Well, if you look at the stats just from the regular season, the game when Shanif scored the most points, that's also when they scored the most points in the tournament in that game,
Yeah.
and that's because everything was running through Shanif. But whenever it was Adil who was running point and trying to score the basketball, that's when you had the least amount of variability in terms of how many people were scoring. So I think the formula was there. It just took them so long to figure it out. By that time, you're not going to be able to have a favorable matchup in the tournament, and you're going to lose.
Yeah, and I think that it's just the team lost all of its effort to win at the end of the day. And as you know, Adil has such a high motor as a player. Like he's going to be consistently giving you his 100% in a game, and when all these players are not doing the same thing, it's just tough. So I get the argument that yes, Adil made a lot of mistakes in this tournament, and like I said, I don't think he should be a captain in tournaments. And it's not about his skill level. I just think he puts too much pressure on himself as a captain. I think he's one of the most skilled players, and he's built to be one of the best scorers in Ismaili basketball. But I just think he puts so much pressure on himself as a captain that he loses the essence of who he truly is as a player. And I think that's going to be, he's going to fulfill that fully whenever he's not a captain.
Yeah, I mean, he was top 5 in scoring this tournament, right?
So he's always going to be a top 5 scorer. He's going to be one of the best rebounders. And he'll, because he has the ball so much, he's able to get assists too. So it's just you have to, and he's one of the best defenders too. He's in shape. He's one of the best defenders. It's just the pressure of being a captain is not for him.
Okay, let's talk about Windy City, because this was our favorite. Like this was like my favorite. This was Alykhan's favorite. I'm not sure if Alyaan, did you have him as a favorite?
I had them as like a good I had them as a sleeper team for sure.
Yeah,
with Zayn and Rahman.
And maybe we made a mistake because it's not like. I don't think there was a player that really no-showed for them. I think the team construction was kind of weird, right? Like they were a little bit on the older side. They had players underperform, right? Of course, when a team underperforms naturally, but I think it was more evenly distributed underperformance, right? Mm-hmm. It was Salman didn't make shots. Zayn, I mean, I think he'll even tell you he wasn't in shape, right?
Yeah.
Zayn being Tamil, right?
Yeah.
And I just think they came in here and they thought they could kind of roll over these teams because they know how good they are, and clearly that wasn't the case. This was a disappointment. Yeah, I'm not going to say it was as strong of a disappointment as it was about Broke Boys. That was by far the most disappointing team. I think probably Zool probably second. Zool number 1 as a player, but number 2 as a team. But yeah, they were a disappointment though. They were a disappointment. I thought they should have made the finals.
Were they consistent enough to you, Alyaan? I'm curious from what you saw on the court. Were the captains consistent enough? Obviously, Tamil and Rahman are great players, but I feel like they both weren't consistent together. There were some games where one would play better than the other, and when you're trying to win a tournament, both your captains have to be on point. We saw that with the teams that made the finals, right? ISO, great example of that. Both players were shining, excelling, allowing other players to step up. For this team, Windy City had that. They had their role players step up in certain spots. It was their captains just didn't deliver, and either one was on, one was not. You can't win like that in Ismaili basketball.
Yeah, it was the first day that really did it for them. I think that was kind of a humbling experience for them because, kind of Zayn was getting locked up by Seyhan. And you don't expect that from Tamil, right? He's one of the quickest guards. He's one of the toughest players I've had to guard just because of his quickness. And so you don't really expect that. But with him getting locked up, him admitting he's not in the best shape for a tournament like this, I think it just... And then when you draft a player like Salman Lalani in the first round, who's meant to be a floor spacer, a 3-point shooter, and that like one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. And when he's missing shots, your team is not poised like to be successful. And I think that that was really the issue. Is that yes, you didn't have. I think this was kind of the chemistry wise the worst pairing of captains. Just with the way it ended up looking, they didn't perform up to what I expected them to perform. I thought they were going to have fantastic chemistry together. It just wasn't meshing as well, and it just looked kind of disorganized offensively. On top of that, you had Salman Lalani missing shots, and again, when you're investing a first-round draft pick in him, your team is dependent on him making shots, and it just wasn't happening.
I'll say this: it really feels like that, in their prime generation of players like Zool, Shanif, Zayn, they all came into this tournament thinking that, I'll just be in game shape and I'll also be one of the better players. I'll come in, I can just play myself into shape, right? And I'll be fine. And I think this was kind of a rude awakening for them. Maybe in their younger years they could have done that, right? But they're not at that point anymore.
Exactly.
Right? They do have to prepare. They do have to be in shape. They do have to kind of be ready for these tournaments. It takes effort to be one of the best players out, right? Because you have a lot of competition. Like it is, we have the conversation every week. Who's the best player in Somali basketball? The reason we're having that conversation consistently is there's so many players to pick from now. Right? You can't walk in and be one of the better players anymore, right? People bring up Neil Merchant. I don't know if that's even possible in today's Ismaili basketball. Like, I'm not sure if that's possible to be consistently coming in and being one of the better players, unless you're consistently in shape and consistently playing, right? And these guys weren't, right? These guys weren't, and it showed. It showed. I think Shanif did play. He just underperformed. But everybody else, they were out of shape. They clearly came in out of shape. They clearly were underperforming because they were not ready to be up against this level of talent.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that you really summed it up. It was just a lot of under preparation, and especially from that team.
Yeah. So let's end on this. What do we think of the tournament? Do we like this format? Like do we want to see it go into the future? Do we have any criticisms, any tweaks, any changes? You mentioned a lot, Alyaan. Anything stick out to you?
I agree with Alyaan. I think we need to do something regarding captains. You need to go into it with a understanding of a captain is not a legacy captain. A captain is at that point in time who can be a good leader and also a table setter for their teammates. I think one guy who excelled as a captain first time kind of in that spotlight was Shayan Karwadia, who turned heads and really validated all three of us on this panel in talking about the fact that he was going to excel, and he did, and he was a captain doing so, right? Power Bags was there. They could have made the championship, if certain plays went their way. So I think in terms of that was a good way, right? It's somebody who was in position to succeed. But, Alyaan, I agree with you. You need to do something about this. We cannot have any more legacy captains that are in that play.
Can I have a suggestion? Maybe one cap per team, right? And I realize in that way you can't do the Dallas-Houston thing, but maybe you just have 5 Dallas ones, 5 Houston ones or whatever, and you can pick the 5 best Dallas players and the 5 best Houston players. It makes the decision more cleaner, and you don't have as much like legacy picks like thrown in there. You really have to think about who those 5 you're going to put in for each side. Right? Like, that may be a way to get around the whole legacy picks thing. You actually intentionally pick one player for each team. It makes the balancing harder, right? Because then you have to put accountability on the players to draft. That first pick has to be like A+. You have to kill that first pick. But maybe they need that pressure.
We got to bring the pacer test back?
No, I mean, so if you're going to do a draft tournament, maybe you can make these changes. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the draft tournament. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I like the whole national, regional pride, right? Like, I like the coaches being involved. I like spectators coming out from all across the country, or even all across the state to come watch their teams. And this is great to have a balanced tournament, like to have teams that are even. You can pull this off. Right? Like, you can do this every once in a while. I think, and I recognize it's easier to, this is also easier to pull off than that sort of national or regional tournament, right?
Yeah.
It's less organization involved with this.
Mm-hmm.
That national/regional tournament's more exciting though, isn't it? Like it's this just like, not that this wasn't exciting, but it was different. It was so different, and we didn't have that kind of emotional investment in regions and players and teams and coaches, all that stuff, and like even narratives like coming into the show, right? Like we had enough, right? Because we always have enough, but it would have been even better if we had that level of like, regional pride. Like if you had Beaumont teams, if you had San Antonio teams, if you had Dallas teams, Houston teams, maybe it ends up being Dallas, Houston. Maybe it ends up being 3 or 4 teams are good, the rest suck. So what? Right? Like, so what? It's still fun. It's still fun to watch. Yeah, maybe it makes like the beginning playoff rounds less fun, but the finals are still extremely fun, especially if you do a national tournament. Then you're really cooking with gas. I just feel like, it's just my opinion. I like drafts. I don't love drafts.
Yeah, I'll say this is, there's pros and cons of a format like this, and I think the pros definitely was to just get. I mean, it's the first time we've really ever done anything like this. Was combining like the best of Houston with the best of Dallas, and it was a competitive tournament nonetheless. Now, what else? And it was organized great. Shout out Adil and Nara, especially for you guys, doing a fantastic job organizing this.
Yeah.
And whoever else was part of the organizational
Rolo,
team.
Everybody.
Yeah, and so my biggest thing is with a tournament like this, the pro is that like everybody gets to play together, you get a competitive tournament, but then I think in a tournament like this, depth is ignored a little bit too much. I think depth options on a team are ignored too much. What if I told you guys that on No Giddy, their 4th or 5th round pick FaZe Charania, when he plays in nationals and regionals tournaments on his team, he's scoring 14 to 16 points a game.
Yeah.
No one would know that in this tournament because he didn't get the opportunity to do that, right? So that's where I see a tournament like a nationals regionals format like we had in the summer of 2024 being so advantageous, because everyone, number one, gets to choose the team that they're playing with. Number two, you get teams of all different kinds of calibers. You get teams that are competitive, but made up of a lot of those pieces that were depth options in this tournament. You have teams like the Titans. You have teams like Clutch City, who are made of, some of the really good players as well. And now this tournament was good for some of those people like Alyaan, who may be considered picked up. Nanu, he could be considered being picked up by some of these Houston teams or some of the Dallas teams as well, because he has friends in Dallas as well. But the point is that I think a national or regional scale tournament, you get to show off these depth options a little bit more. And so, I think that, I think that that's what a tournament like this is missing. Because, I use that example, FaZe Charania. Same thing with FaZe Shalwani as well. Like, he averaged probably 2 points a game this tournament. In his regionals team, he's, competitive, winning some games, and he's scoring 15, 16 points as well. So it's just a way to show off, depth in the tournament. And I think that I do like this idea. We talked about this too. I do like this idea, like, every other year or something like that, of like a draft tournament, see where everybody's at. But I think you get the best out of all of the players. We talked about under preparation of players and all of that stuff. Players prepare when they're playing with people they want to play with.
Yeah.
And that's in those nationals and regionals team, because that's their own, they're building their own team.
This is a great showcase tournament, right, for that talent.
Yep.
I will say this though, I am in no way underestimating the amount of work that is placed into national tournaments, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am just simply advocating for even like a regional tournament, right? Where like you're not doing the draft. You have a Dallas team. Maybe you have 2 Dallas teams. Maybe you have 2 Houston teams. Maybe you have 2 San Antonio. You can do it like that. That's less teams. It's less organization, less work involved, and you still get that kind of element that we're talking about, that pride element, and the coaches and stuff like that. And also, I'll also say this: you do nationals too much, it feels less important, and people start sitting out, right? And that's the last thing you want. You don't want people sitting out every other year, right? Like, I'll just go to the next one. No, this only happens once every 3 or 4 years. Show up, or you're not going to show up for another 3 or 4 years, right?
Yep.
Like kind of like the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of have to do it like that, where like you have more frequent. So I guess maybe the next national tournament would a nice kind of natural sticking point might be 2028, right? For an
Yeah.
HYL national tournament, that
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
a decent kind of time. But yeah, these are nice. These are nice. Don't get me wrong. Mix them in. Mix these draft tournaments in. It works really well for balancing, right? For competitive balancing, it works really well for that.
Yeah.
But maybe throw in a regional tournament every now and then, like a traditional regional tournament. Those are fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly think the most fun tournament I've played in was that 2024 HYL tournament where, that was at that MI3 facility. It was fantastic. It was a really, really fun tournament. And that's just, everyone everyone created their own teams. And you had a team coming from Canada in that one too. I remember that was
multiple teams. Yeah. It was great. It was great. And don't get me wrong. It is a and a half to organize. Right?
Oh yeah, I've heard.
Yeah. No, but you know what? Like, ask us for help. Like, I even ask some of the, like, I'm sure Alyaan, you'd want to volunteer if you're asked, right?
Yeah.
Like, to make that happen, I'll help out. Like, Alykhan, you can probably help. Like, more people would volunteer than you would think, right?
Yeah.
To help you out, to take some off your plate. Like, it's something that people enjoy enough to want to contribute to make great, right? So, yeah, it's a lot, but do it less often, and get as much help as you can, and you can pull it off. But it was other than that, I thought this was a good tournament. Don't get me wrong.
Fantastic tournament. Yeah, it was definitely like a good tournament to watch, and I really like the competitive balance with the majority of teams there.
Yeah, and we knew going in there was going to be two bad teams, right? There always is, right? Yeah. 2 or 3, I think I did not anticipate that it would stop at that, right? Like that there would be like genuinely like 5 or 6 teams that could win it all, and that's what ended up happening, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much to all the organizers of this tournament. As always, you guys are the real MVPs. We are just humble podcasters. We're here getting our takes off. Everyone on socials making the tournament a big deal. Thank you for all your time and effort. It makes a big difference. It gets people excited. All the kids, all the parents, everything. We love that. We love to see like as much participation as possible. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the shows we put together. It was a lot of work, but I enjoyed doing it. I hope you guys did too. We'll see you guys in the next tournament.
See y'all.